Hey, lucky you. You're watching Noise 11. This is Steve Poltz.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Poltz. Should be an applause or something at that point, shouldn't it? Yeah, thank you very much. How many times have you been to Australia?
This is number 12.
Uh-huh.
Yes, number 12. Lucky number 12.
Yeah, I'm impressed. And this time touring off the back of an album you made in Australia when you were down here last time.
Yes, I made that album in WA in Perth. And my friend Malcolm Clark from the Sleepy Jackson produced it.
Yeah. So how did that collaboration come about?
I was walking into the loo, and he was walking out of the loo at the Tivoli in Brisbane. He was on tour with Kev Mitchell. I'm Bob Evans from Jebediah, Kevin Mitchell. And as I was walking in, he was walking out, and he said, nice gig. And I was their opening act for the whole tour. And then I watched them play, and he and I just hit it off, and we hung out every night. And then when we ended up in Perth, he said, why don't you come into my studio and do some tracking? So I did, and then I wasn't planning on making a record, though, and then I ended up making a whole record and going back again and again.
And you wacky Canadian/Americans, look at the name of this record. Noineen Noiny Noin. Steve Poltz, after 12 trips to Australia, has finally nailed the Australian accent on an album.
Well, the first time I came here, I said to the promoter, what year was it that I came here? And he said, Reagan, it was about Noineen Noiny Noin. And right at that moment, I knew I had my album title. So I like the way it sounds, too. I just want to hear Americans and Canadians say Noineen Noiny Noin. And none of them can say it right. They don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I will. I'm spreading goodwill.
I'd like to hear Prince actually sing his hit, 1999, with an Australian accent.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. How would he do that? Forgive me.
We're gonna party like it's 1999. Yeah.
So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Hello. That's so good.
It just doesn't have the same effect, does it? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It seems so long ago when One Left Shoe came out.
Yeah, that was back in '98, I think. And that's, I would have never come to Australia if it weren't for Jewel. So kudos to Jewel for bringing me along, and I was in her band, and I was her opening act. And my first memories of Australia are we played a bunch of sold-out nights, I think 7 nights in a row at the Palais. Maybe it was 3, but I like to say 7. It was a lot of sold-out nights at the Palais Theater. And I remember because it smells really like moldy backstage, like just wet all the time. And like the walls are going to collapse at any moment. It's really dusky and dank smelling. Have you been there?
I certainly have, yeah. Bob Dylan's played there, Bruce Springsteen's played there, and Steve Poltz has played there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good company.
I liked it.
Yeah, so that was the very first visit and the very first solo album.
Yes, and then I came back. I just took to Australia and came back and kept coming back and kept coming back. And I could actually live in Melbourne.
Well,
it's a very livable city.
It's
on my radar.
We'll hunt you down an apartment.
All right.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
But, when that album came out, it was like, Chinese Vacation was like years later, wasn't it?
It was. It was like...
You weren't as prolific back then as you are now.
Well, I was prolific, but I wasn't... It was really hard to get me into a studio. What happened was I had recorded an original version of Chinese Vacation, and I didn't like it. And I paid for the record myself. And this is back when studio time was a lot more expensive, and I never put the record out. It was a totally different record. And then I met this guy named Billy Harvey on tour with Bob Schneider, and he said, why don't you come into my studio? And we hit it off. And then I re-recorded the record, but then had like 6 other new songs on it. So there's a missing version of Chinese Vacation that I don't even know where it is anymore. I think it's in my house in a closet. That never came out. It was mastered and everything by Gavin Larson, this great mastering guy in Los Angeles. And I just never put out the record.
Wow.
I know, it's weird.
I
should
gem.
put it out.
Yeah.
It is. If I ever die, somebody's got it somewhere.
So there is a master, but you don't know where it is.
I think it's in my closet and under my socks, like some smelling socks.
It will never be found then.
I just wasn't that into the record. I didn't like the way I was singing, and then I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't like it. And then 9/11 happened, and I was just on the road. And
well, 9/11 happened. Music started to flow again. Did that?
It did.
Did that actually set off a spark within you for creativity?
No, it didn't. But I remember flying 2 days after 9/11, and I flew Southwest Airlines, and normally it's packed. And I was doing a show in Austin, Texas with Bob Schneider at Antone's. And we were doing a show where we were doing a song swap the whole night, where he had a couch out, and we were just sitting on a couch. And I remember flying out 2 days after 9/11, and the airport was just like a ghost town in San Diego. I flew San Diego to Austin, and they were handing out little candies like, come on, come into the plane, don't be scared. Then I got into Austin, and everybody was just a little shell-shocked for that whole year.
Yeah. The whole San Diego community, how's that sort of fit together these days? I mean, you're mates with a lot of artists from that region.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not home a lot, but Gregory Page, obviously, he was in the Rugburns with me. Berkeley Hart, Jeff Berkeley, he's come over and opened for me. Bushwalla has come over and opened for me. Jason Mraz has a house in San Diego. Jewel did live there. Rocket from the Crypt. Pete from Rocket from the Crypt, they might do a reunion tour. He does all my merch, all my T-shirts and everything. And I know a lot of different guys, a lot of musicians and stuff, but I'm not home a lot. I only play a few shows there a year, and most of my time is spent on the road.
Yes.
I feel like I'd almost rather live in Austin, Texas, but Austin doesn't have the weather San Diego has.
You've resurrected the Rugburns a few times in recent years?
I have. We've done a bunch of Rugburn shows. Not a bunch, but every year I play the Belly Up Tavern and I usually get the Rugburns together. And one of them is just a full-time teacher now, and it's one time a year he comes out to play, and his equipment just is completely crap. It's the same equipment he's had that's 20 years old that had beer spilled in it, and he only plays once a year. It's hilarious. And no matter what he does, right when we start, we come walking on stage, there's equipment failure on the very first song, and he's completely frustrated. None of his chords work, and every year I say, you might want to get maybe some new chords or change your strings or something. And it's become a long-standing joke with us now. So we come out on stage, even no matter if he tests all his chords, he's one of those guys that's jinxed, where on the first song it's not going to work.
Yeah. What is it about that band? There's a lot of old fans that just love it whenever you get together, aren't there?
Yeah, we were really popular in a lot of colleges across the United States, and we would always start our tours in Tijuana, Mexico, and then drive all the way to New York and back. And we had a huge Midwest following, like Ohio and Michigan, and it was a heavy, hard drinking band and really fun party band. And so a lot of people have certain nostalgia for it, and they have all these old T-shirts, and it was cool. I liked it. Really fun.
So having the new album out, and we'll say that name again, Noineen Noiny Noin.
It's more Noineen Noiny Noin. You're not.
You're telling me how to do the Australian accent.
Yeah. You're not doing it right. It's Noineen Noiny Noin.
Okay, I'll take that from somebody from Canada. But what's fitting into the set list for you?
Off of this...
Yeah, what feels good to play live off the new record?
Oh, man, just about all the songs. Every show's got like a little snowflake. They're all different. And I really like playing Conversations with the Moon lately. That wouldn't have even been on the record. My tour manager, Chris Modell, said, you should put that song on the record. I forgot about it. And then that one, I talk about Australia. I talk about cricket. I talk about how you guys use the word bonnet for hood and torch for flashlight. And it's got a little Australian vibe. There's another one called From the Top of Her Head that mentions Perth and Flinders Lane and all different kinds of stuff. And Spirit Hands, Rock Skid Live, and I played a lot of this stuff off the record.
Well, you really have learnt the language, haven't you?
I have, a little bit. Well, I was just out near the Flinders Ranges. We were in South Australia, and I just taught a songwriting workshop in a town called Quorn, Quorn. I was at the Quorn Area School with all these high school songwriters. Boy, that was fun, but it was a lot of hard work. I was there all day and trying to get these kids to write songs, and it was super fun. I've seen a lot of Australia.
You've seen more than me, actually.
I have?
Yeah.
That's what most Aussies tell me. You know, most Australians never get out to Perth.
I've never been to Perth. Never been to Western Australia.
Well, it's an expensive ticket from what
Yeah.
I hear, and you'd rather go to Bali or
Austin.
Austin. Yeah, Austin.
One day Perth. We will get there.
I am playing Singapore on this tour, which is interesting how that came
right.
about.
Have you done that before?
I only was in Singapore with Jewel.
Uh-huh.
I was in Singapore, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Japan and stuff, but I'd never done Singapore on my own. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, we're going to hear a few songs from Mr. Poltz, the Noineen Noiny Noin. Very good. Steve Poltz here at Noise 11.
Thank you.